something that seeps into your being living in China is that this is a 5,000-year-old civilization. Most people in the world know very little about Chinese history. In China, you see and feel that history everywhere. For the majority of human civilization, China was the most advanced, powerful, and stable country in the entire world. We've just been living in a time that is an exception to that. China is also not far away from being a very poor country that was just a pile of rubble. Throughout history, China never went around the world colonizing the entire planet while slaughtering native populations. China built a wall to keep people out. The Chinese have had their Chinese way of doing things for thousands of years. While being ruled by the Manchu Qing dynasty, the Manchu became Chinese, a nation that values education and stability. Modern China, through planning and will, succeeded in lifting itself out of extreme poverty and currently helps other nations do the same by building roads, high-speed rail, hospitals, and schools, creating a stability that facilitates win-win trading opportunities, unlike the zero-sum game that motivates developed Western countries. China is not interested in spreading their specific form of government all around the world. Instead, they'd rather have a stable one with shared prosperity. Power structures in the West continue to push the narrative to their populations that what Western colonial powers have done, disrupting and pillaging other nations for the last few hundred years, is certainly what must also be China's true motivations. In other words, if evil imperialistic communist China ever gains any substantial influence around this world, they will surely do exactly what Western colonial powers have done and continue to do, even though history, past and present, shows us otherwise. In other words, projection. If you think things are bad here, things are a lot worse in China. If this false assumption continues being the assumed narrative, there certainly will be even more difficulties throughout our world. But what if people living in developed Western countries were finally able to see through the deceptive propaganda they've been fed about China their entire lives? Think about all the tax dollars that would be saved on much fewer weapons and military bases.
Hold on a minute, Shill. What about all that evil communist Chinese imperialistic aggression?
What would you do if your country was surrounded by military bases, nuclear submarines, and missiles?
Build a magnificent Iron Dome.
You'd spend billions of your hard-earned tax dollars on that?
Oh yes, just in case the USA is ever surrounded by military bases, nuclear submarines, and missiles.
How about being able to buy a high-quality electric car for around $10,000?
Only if it's made by an American company in America. I don't want no evil Chinese communist spy spying on me from camera inside that affordable electric car.
Do you really think a Chinese spy will always be sitting by a monitor just waiting to watch you drive your high-quality, affordable electric car to El Pollo Loco?
Oh yeah, and I don't even like the thought of losing all those all-American jobs either.
BYD could build factories in the USA.
Those factories wouldn't be American.
Apple has factories in China.
That should come right back to America.
You really want to pay a lot more for your next iPhone?
I don't have an iPhone. Too expensive.
What if convenient, affordable high-speed rail was available for everyone in America? China could help with that.
High-speed rail just loses money.
Occasionally, in the short term, but
I'll never support anything to do with evil communist China imperialistic aggression.
Wouldn't you like to live in a peaceful world?
Impossible.
Why?
Because of evil communist China imperialistic aggression.
Who really gains from a world in chaos?
USA, USA, USA.